Welcome. Thank you for opening this video and exploring together the concept soul-centric development. I am Bogdan Romanică, a nature-based human development guide from Romania and the coordinator of Dreams for Life organization. With Dreams for Life, we have managed to implement an international project under the Erasmus Programme of the European Union. Within this program, we have developed various activities, training courses, workshops, and intellectual outputs that aim at bringing innovation and practical solution to the youth work field. One of these solutions is this very video, in which we are going to explore the concept of soul-centric development. Soul-centric development is at the core of our work at Dreams for Life. Are you curious to find out more? Are you curious to discover new ideas, perspectives, and maybe some insights and solutions to your questions? If you are willing to discover soul-centric development, then let's spend the following minutes together. Let's begin with the question, what is soul-centric development? First of all, I have to tell you that we have discovered this approach in the work of the eco-depth psychologist Bill Plotkin, who lives and works in the United States. He is the author of 4 books, and all these 4 books are creating a framework which we call it soul-centric development. What I'm going to share next are my personal opinions as an active practicant of soul-centric development, but also as a human being. So please do not consider that this video is a direct recognition of Bill Plotkin himself. So me with my colleagues, we have followed some trainings, consistent trainings with Bill Plotkin's organizations. We got into his books, and now we want to share with you what we believe is soul-centric development. So soul-centric development begins with the idea that inside each human being there is a soul. And through the perspective of Bill Plotkin, soul is our uniqueness, our unique mission, purpose that we have to manifest in the world during this lifetime. And some people define this as our blueprint, our acorn, or our cargo, the gifts, the mission, the purpose that we have to give to the world around us. And it's important to know that every person has a soul. Every person came to this world to fulfill a mission, a sacred mission. And soul-centric development is the personal and communitarian development which emphasizes the existence of the soul in every human being and supports the discovery of our uniqueness, of our soul, and then to create the required conditions and resources to manifest our soul into the world. This may sound a simple philosophy, a simple idea, but yet things are harder than we may expect. Things are harder because the world we live in is at large an egocentric world, which means is a world that is focused on the development of our ego, our day-to-day consciousness. Because ego, we can say that is a creation of the culture that we live in. of the family where we grow up. But soul is ecocentric. Soul is a creation of the earth, is a collection of images and revelations that come beyond our egos. And because our society is egocentric, and not only egocentric, but at largely unhealthy, consumerist, conformist society, in these conditions, it's very difficult to discover, get in touch with our soul, and even more, to manifest it and offer it to the world. When we don't get in touch with our souls and we live according to the needs of society, the wishes of our parents, the mainstream media, when we are disconnected from our soul, often mental health problems may appear. We may get anxiety, confusion, depression. We may become passive, pessimists, and we may feel that our lives are meaningless. Therefore, getting in touch with our souls is fundamental, and soul-centric development provides the framework and the tools and resources and activities in which someone can explore its soul and then offer it as a gift to the others. It is important to know that soul-centric development is directly and deeply connected with nature. Because we are natural beings, we are coming from nature, and soul is an ecological element, because our souls describe our place in the larger ecosystem. Therefore, soul-centric development, it must be interconnected with nature. Often, our activities and soul-centric practices are happening in the wild, in the nature, and are based on the interaction with the natural beings, often using universal principles, the natural law of the earth. Here are some practical aspects, principles, ideas, tools that create the soul-centric approach. First of all, it is important to get in touch with our resources and to cultivate our wholeness. One way to do this is to engage with the nature-based map of the human psyche that is developed by Bill Plotkin in his book Wild Mind. In this book, we can see a map which places in the 4 directions our inner resources. So when we engage with this map and with this approach, we often interact with nature and we cultivate our inner resources. We cultivate our wildness, our generosity, our innocence, our playfulness, our mysterious, creative, romantic sides. So this can be one important step in cultivating our wholeness and soul-centric development by engaging, for example, with the nature-based map of the human psyche. In this way, we can cultivate our wholeness and gather the required resources that will bring us closer to our souls. Another important element that we need to do is self-healing. Again, in this nature-based map of the human psyche, we see also the elements of our woundedness. Because we, as humans growing up in an egocentric, consumerist world, we get wounded, we get traumatized. We may develop survival strategies that fall in the category of conforming, or maybe rebelling, or maybe we develop a strong inner critic, or addictions or we develop shadow elements. All these dimensions are called subpersonalities, and they influence our lives, sometimes keeping us small or keeping us safe and avoiding our greatness, avoiding important experiences that may bring us closer to our souls. So, by developing our wholeness and our resources, we cultivate the inner capacities that will later on bring us in face of our subpersonalities, doing the self-healing work, healing our wounded children, our conformist victim, so we can step out of these limiting ways of being. We may make peace with the inner critic, so we believe that we are valuable and resourceful, and we can step into a bigger stories of our life. So this would be a second element that needs to happen besides holding and cultivation of our wholeness, is the element of self-healing, the healing of our wounded, immature parts. As we are cultivating our wholeness, expanding our inner resources, and healing our wounded parts, we begin to feel more and more the calling of our soul, that deep, deep layer of our psyche, which holds the revelations of who we truly are and of the reasons why we came on the earth in this very moment. Often we hear this calling, the calling of our soul, in moments that we may call them existential crises, when we feel that life is no longer working as we thought, or maybe when our idealistic expectations will never come true, or maybe when we feel hurt, or maybe when we lose someone or something. In these moments we begin to feel maybe more the calling of our soul. Our soul is calling us to the depths, to look inside of us and to ask the big questions of life. Very often this quest doesn't happen and cannot happen in the human village, because the human village is the place where we feel comfortable, where we know all the answers, where the questions that we carry cannot find their answers. And here, where nature is becoming our true ally, we need to transform from simple workers, simple tourists on the realm of living, into soulful pilgrims that embark into a quest of discovering the answers to the true questions of life. Often, if not always, when we decide to walk the path of the soul, we need to leave behind an adolescent identity. The identity that we have created in our first maybe 20, 30 years of our lives, in order to step into the unknown territory of the soul. We cannot become fully and truly ourselves if we are still embodying a false self, a false identity, or maybe, better said, a shallow, narrow, limited identity. Because there is a social identity that is defined by our roles, jobs, groups that we belong to. And there's a deeper identity, an identity of the soul that is described by archetypal images, symbols, metaphors. So in order to step into our true self, our deep identity, We need to learn how to give up our adolescent identity. And this may sound mysterious, complicated, confusing, and often is. But what is really important is that there are maps. There are maps that can guide us in the journey of soul initiation. The journey that will bring us from our everyday life to a soulful way of living. And we are blessed to have the maps that were created by Bill Plotkin. There is the nature-based map of the human psyche, which beautifully presents our inner resources and wounded parts. But there are other maps as well. One of them is the Soulcentric developmental wheel. A wheel which presents the 8 stages of life, of soul-centric life, starting with childhood, adolescence, adult life, and elderhood. Bill Plotkin, in this map and in his book Nature and the Human Souls, he describes practical tasks and activities for each life stage. I strongly encourage you to go into this model and explore it. And you will see how maybe as a teenager we need to develop our values. We need to get in touch with our passions. We need to learn conflict resolution. And above all, to be able to be authentic. And for each life stage, there are mysterious encounters, tasks, beautiful, beautiful possibilities that lay in this model. So yeah, next to the nature-based map of the human psyche, there is the soul-centric developmental wheel. And this is another important resource. We spoke a little bit about the tools and maps that can be used on the path to our soul. Let me tell you a few practical activities that we often use in our work that are fundamental for soul-centric development. One of them is the wandering in nature. Wandering in nature is a practice in which we wander, explore with curiosity the natural world, the land. Often, if not always, a wander happens in solitude, alone, being by ourselves. And as guides, we offer invitations for participants to wander with. We may invite them to wander with the intention of getting in touch with their wildness, with their wild self. Or maybe we invite people to engage in some wild conversations with different creatures on the land. Or maybe to write a letter, or maybe to do a self-design ceremony. In this way, having an intention, a focus to work with, we may create a space in which the mysteries of our psyches meet with the mysteries of nature. And often when we wander on the land with intention, we may have beautiful and mysterious encounters which give us answers, revelations, and produce the premises of deep change and transformation. So wandering on the land is one activity. Another possibility is to hold the council, to stay in circle with other human beings and hold the talking object and pass it from one to another, sharing from our heart and listening with the heart. Often the council is a ceremony, having a candle in the middle and some symbolic objects. And the question may be dropped in the center as a support for the sharing of stories. We often use what is in your heart, what's alive in you. But there are many other possibilities that you can use in a council. Other possibilities and activities may involve using the body through dance and movement and embodiment and authentic movement. The body holds important emotions, insights, intuition. So the body can be a vessel for deep and true transformation. We use it and we encourage you to connect with your body. Symbolic artwork is another great possibility for engaging with our depths and exploring the realm of our soul. Soul speaks through images, symbols, metaphors, and artwork is a great channel to engage with that. We may use painting, drawing, land art, clay work. All these may provide channels that reach deeper and deeper layers of our psyches. So we encourage you to use artwork as a way of getting in touch with your authentic self and your soul. One fundamental element that can be of great support in the journey of soul initiation is having soul-centric mentors. Soul-centric mentors are the wise beings, wise humans that already walked the road to their souls and in a way or another are embodying elements and manifesting elements of their souls. Soul-centric mentors can be a compassionate, warm heart that is able to listen, to ask questions, to mirror and to offer invitations that will deepen even more the person in their soul journey. We have created another resource online available to you. It is an online course on soul-centric mentoring. And together with my colleague Sandra Horea, we have developed a collection of videos in which we speak about the main skills and attitudes of a mentor, and we provide stories and insight on how someone can become a soul-centric mentor. And you may explore it by following the link that is available in the description of this video. Soul-centric development is a fundamental element for the great turning, the transformation that we, this generation and the future generation, need to do in order to produce the global change that is so important to happen, to shift from an egocentric, consumerist, conformist society to a soul-centric, earth-based, flourishing human community. And this shift cannot happen without human development. And we propose soul-centric development as fundamental key in the global transition that we all need to do. And this change is happening globally. Soul-centric people are emerging in different places around the world. More and more initiatives bring people closer to nature and to their own souls. And having these maps that were developed by Bill Plotkin, we can make stronger steps, more steps, and maybe quicker into the desired future. Now, at the end of this video, I want to thank you for following me and for being open to receive new perspectives, ideas, possibilities. We encourage you to follow and explore the resources that were presented here. Maybe read Bill Plotkin's books. Maybe follow our programs and come to one of our workshops or trainings. And above all, trust your soul. Go out on the land, go for a walk, leaving all the distractions aside. Just go for a walk to be in touch with the earth, the elements, your heart, your soul. We are together, a growing community of soul-centric people all over the world. There is hope, but it has to be an active hope. We need to act and be the citizens that this earth needs. Thank you so much. Thank you.